Shedeur Sanders was reportedly unprepared for NFL draft interviews. Most sports analysts' viewpoints about Shedeur Sanders show how valuable their relationship is with his father, Deion. They continue to draw more interest as to why Shedeur Sanders went so late in the NFL draft and why it differs from what the teams were saying. The theory about the NFL using Sanders to keep ratings up during all 3 days of the NFL draft seems a bit extreme. Fans take into consideration how much attention Coach Prime and his family attract, but people couldn't help but wonder if that is true. Some analysts were outraged that teams didn't draft Sanders earlier. They couldn't believe he was passed on so many times for other quarterbacks. It sounded logical at the time, until the reports began to surface about his NFL interviews with teams that were looking to draft him. There is no denying Sanders has played some exceptional football over his collegiate career. Deion Sanders throws subtle shade at Mike Tomlin. Garnered can't be denied either. Sanders' magnetic personality is similar to Tim Tebow's. The difference between the two quarterbacks is that Tebow won multiple championships at Florida and is slow throwing motion, while Sanders is patting the ball and has a crisp pass. Tebow was known for leaving it all on the field, with no room for conversation about him coming up short in big moments by leading his team to a championship instead of falling short. In a recent episode of Nightcap, Shannon Sharpe gave an example of how teams handle quarterback interviews before the draft to see if prospects can retain the plays being called and what adjustments to make when a team defense is in a particular coverage. When Chad Johnson heard Sharpe say the Giants had mistakes put into the play that Sanders didn't catch, and that teams test quarterbacks by having them explain the plays, a lot of players can ace the interview. But when you turn on the tape, they can't play. That might be true, and those players are pulled from the field for their lack of athleticism and ability to read plays. If teams are willing to hold those players accountable, why shouldn't Sanders be held to that same standard? Everything Johnson said is true, but Sanders should still be held accountable for missing what he should have caught. It would show that he is able to miss something, but allow himself to be coachable. Giants head coach Brian Daboll has tested Jalen Hurts, Tua Tagovailoa, Mac Jones, and Josh Allen, just to name a few of the quarterbacks he has worked with. Hopefully, this is something Sanders will learn from, and he will show everyone he is more than capable of playing the position at a high level.